Hey everybody, how you doing? Good to see you, extraordinaires. You are watching the Mr. Extraordin Talks podcast. I'm not alone. I'm with someone who I personally believe is definitely going to change the game regarding comic books. He's definitely one of them. And his name is Kamohelo Molefe. I don't know, some of you might know him, some of you might not. And that's the purpose of this podcast, to introduce you to some upcoming great people. How you doing, bro?
No, I'm doing well, man. How's yourself?
I'm good, my brother. Thank you so
How's
much
yourself?
for
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for joining us, man. I've been a fan of your work for a few years now. I think I even hit you up on Facebook and we started chatting for, I don't know, for a year or 2 years. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, I'm a fan of your comic, man, Khanya. I just thought maybe we can just talk a bit about it. But before we get there, can you just tell us a bit about yourself, bro? I see that it says you're from Pietermaritzburg. Were you born there?
Yeah, I was born here in Pietermaritzburg.
Mm.
Yes.
Oh, shout out, man. And what influenced you to doing this comic book thing, man? Was it cartoons? Was it comic books? What was it?
Um, okay. The story like began a long time ago.
Okay.
Actually, my siblings are artists, but then they decided at some point in their lives to stop doing arts, and it's all started like in grade one for me. But
Wow.
even before that, see that I wanted to like create stories. You know, when
Mm.
you play with clay and mud
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
child,
Right.
yeah, like you're trying to create like a new world where you are in
Mm.
charge
Right.
and create different profiles. Yeah, and like those profiles having to experience different things in their lives. So it's began. Yeah, I was still young. I was still a kid before preschool,
So
and
you said
then
you have,
okay,
oh, okay. You said you have siblings. How many siblings do you have?
that I know of, it's
Yeah,
three
yeah.
plus me, so there's four of us.
Oh, okay.
But then, yeah, there's a story that there's another two that we've never
Oh,
met. Yeah,
oh, I see. I see. Okay. So sorry, you're still saying from grade one, what happened?
and then it went on to like in school in primary school you get to join these competitions,
Mm.
like who's the best, who can draw the best character, who can draw the best car. So I used to enter those things, those competitions, and like it was one of those I don't know how to call it, but it was like you are starting from the bottom of the list and you
Mm.
keep on rising until
Sure.
you reach the top, until you're number one. And then
Right.
I changed schools. Uh, in the new school, I met someone who introduced me to puppets, and this was still in preschool. So
So
it
which
was
year
grade
was
six.
this
Yeah,
and which school was this?
cannot remember the dates, but I was in
No,
grade six when this
oh,
began.
okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, they introduced me to puppets, and we used to like play with these things in class. And
Mm.
then I was like, oh, that's when we began um, watching the Super Strikers on TV and
Right.
getting those cards. Yeah, at Caltex, we used to go and collect those cards, and that's where it began. Like the whole comic book thing. Like, I want to draw comic books like this. And also getting inspired by dragonballz, like, yeah, because we used to watch that a lot
Sure.
in my community. So we used to like, okay, my friends and I would draw different characters. We had our own characters that we used to play with and make puppets and destroy them. We were still
What?
kids and trying to go out and yeah.
Okay. Oh
Yeah.
wow. And then so this thing didn't die. You just continued with it as you got older. You just never stopped with the storytelling
Mm.
thing and this drawing thing. Did your friends continue or did they stop?
It's sad because everyone that I went into these competitions with, they all stopped.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Did you win the
they
competition?
all stopped. No, it was like a rivalry thing that we were doing as
Mm.
students, learners, not no one old involved. So we used to do it as kids, like who was the best in class and who was the
Oh,
best in that grade, and who was the
sure.
best in the whole school. So it was something like that.
No, that's interesting, man. And then how did Khanya come about, bro? Because when I look at your stuff, to me it seems like it's a project that you have conceptualized for a very long time. Like I think you've released a few issues, né? But even with those few issues, you can tell that this story has been like this person has been thinking about this project for a very long time. Like the story itself has a rich history. Like the aliens have a history, the two races have a history. That alien that comes and gives Khanya and the other guys powers, you can tell that you didn't just think about them like in a year. No, it's like it's maybe like 5 years type of situation. So yeah, man.
Okay, yeah. The story of Kenya began in 2018.
Okay.
2018. I
Mm.
was doing first year in graphic design.
Okay.
I was like, because I had other characters and other stories, comic book stories. But
Mm.
then I was like, how, which comic book can I use to get exposure, to get out there, to be noticed, to be seen
Right.
and heard? And I was
Right.
like, okay, let me make something new, something that can define me and what I do, and
Right.
also define and also be connected to the different stories that I created before Kanya. Kanya is like actually my latest one
Oh,
because
okay.
most of my most of my comic books and my comic book characters, I created them in high school.
Okay.
But then things happened. You know the story of like most people have like experienced this. Like someone would see you drawing every time and they would make you ban your creations. Yeah,
Mm.
and it was like Kanya was a story like for me to begin now without having those voices turn me down and make me do something that I don't want to do with my creation, because now I was older, a little a little bit more experienced, and I could now stand my ground. So I was like, okay, let me make something that will pave the way for these different characters and these
So
different stories that I've made.
where did these voices come from? Was it like people in school, teachers, relatives? where did these voices come from that were discouraging
Yeah,
you to?
it was sometimes people in school and excuse me, and yeah, even at home, there was that someone that was like
Right,
fighting.
right.
Yeah, until they noticed like later on when I
Mm,
was older, and now they say, "Ha, this thing of yours is working. Continue, do it. Don't stop."
yeah.
You see, yeah,
Yeah, one thing I've
it
noticed,
changed the
especially
message.
especially at in the home, is they don't understand, you know. I don't blame them. They just don't understand what it is we're doing because they are used to environments where the child grows up to be a lawyer or a doctor or an accountant or an architect. But when you say you want to do comic books, to them, they're like, "Ah, man, what are you talking about?" But like you're saying, it's when they start seeing how serious you're taking it, and obviously now times have changed because some of the movies that we watch now are based on comic books. You know what I mean? So things are now a bit different from back then. I also know when I was young, you know, my mom used to like hide my comic books or throw them away, or you know, I have some drawings that I don't even know where they are because I think my grandmother threw them away or something. So it happens, and I think it happens because
Yeah,
they don't
yeah.
understand, you know. So I don't blame them. It's just that they don't understand. But like you're saying, over time, when they start seeing how seriously you're doing this thing and they start seeing a bit of progress in this thing that you're doing, that's when they start saying, oh, okay, no, okay, continue, go ahead, you know. So I'm glad, and shout out to you for not giving up, because I'm sure if we were to talk to some people, even the people that you did those competitions with, I'm sure some of them were discouraged, you know.
Mm. Yeah,
Yeah, so shout out to you
yeah.
for not giving up on your dream.
No, I think this whole thing, this whole art thing, that it's not being viewed as a serious
Mm,
subject in high schools.
yes,
It may lead to people giving up also,
right, right.
because yeah, it was one of those reasons that even I myself ended up wavering, like, and I was like, hey, is this working for me?
Mm,
And I was still in
mm,
high school thinking about this. Is this working for me? Even though I
mm,
knew that I was like laying the foundation for something big to
right.
happen, that I want to happen. But there were times where I was like, hey, what if this doesn't take off? And
Mm.
this will end up being my problem. And I was like beginning to notice a down a downfall in my performance at school. I
Right.
was like, okay, I need to do something different now, because I was beginning to focus more into comics. You
Yes,
know, when the
yes.
story gets
Yeah. No,
awesome, like
I've
you
been
will like,
there.
yeah,
I've been there.
I'm enjoying
I've been
this.
there. I've
And
been there.
yeah, and the people want to read. You know, your peers want to read. They're
Yes.
like, hey, Gamu, you have a new story now. Okay, now I have to go home and create,
Mm.
ignore the homework, ignore the
Yeah.
assignments, yeah, and
Yeah.
do these stories. But then,
Mm.
yeah, I think it was a form of a way for me to learn that, hey, I need to prioritize
Right.
some things. Some
Right.
things I'll be able to do later on in
Mm.
time.
Mm. But so how long did it take you to do one issue of Khanya?
Of Khanya. Okay. Excuse me. The first issue of Khanya,
Mm.
it was a huge problem for me. But then I think you would notice I had a different story, no, a different title before Khanya. And the story was actually similar to the story of Khanya. I titled it Echo, only
Okay.
to find out later that there's an echo with Marvel, and yeah. And then I was like, okay, I need to change the name and change everything, because for me it was also a learning phase
Right.
with doing digital illustrations and all of that, and adding colors using
Yeah.
a computer, which I had never done before.
Mm.
Yeah, to try and avoid buying crayons all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it was like a different step for me. So I created Echo. The story is the same. The character is the same. Even the name, it's Lwanele, and it's Lwanele. So I created Echo with someone from high school,
Okay.
who used to inspire me a lot. They also did illustrations, but they now do it's photography. But they still do like amazing illustrations. So I started that comic book with a guy named Lwanele.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, yeah.
So that
But
guy is basically the inspiration of the main character's name.
Yes, because
Okay.
when I saw him, I saw this guy with with untapped power, something hidden inside of
Right.
him, but he did not see it. So with Kanya, with Echo, because at that time it was Echo, and I was like, hey, we need to go. And so we used to speak. You see, I was like, hey, because there's a newspaper here named Echo, we could like use this guy as their like to get into doing papers, like maybe get them to publish our stories there in that paper. I was like, hey, that could be our way of getting a job or something. So we used to like, and we were
Right.
like, yeah, let's use this, let's use this. So, but it never worked. Even when I sent them something, even when I sent, yeah, they were like, hey, we're gonna do something, we're gonna include you in an article. Yeah. So that's where it ended. That article, I never saw it, but
Oh
someone
no.
said, hey, we saw you on the front of was it a newspaper? Yeah, of a newspaper somewhere. I never saw that newspaper.
Oh, so they
I
actually did it.
kept
It's just that
checking.
you didn't see it, but they actually did it.
Yeah.
Did that help at all? Did you get like new readers from that article?
No, because I was still starting out. And I think that's when I like thought maybe let me begin something and give it a new name. Let me restart the story
All right.
and see how it's going to go. And yeah, that's when I came up with Khanya and having him to get the same powers. We have the same lightness, the lightness guy.
Yeah.
The lightness guy. We still have him, but now he is different from the other version. And the story now gives him his own origin. How did he get to be lightness?
Because you know what I like
Almost all.
what I like about your first issue
Mhm.
is it starts with action, you know. There's a car accident. Everybody there
Oh,
is like, yo, what's happening? You know, it's like you from the minute you start reading it, you are already invested in what's going to happen next, and I think that's how I believe storytelling should be. Sometimes you need to grab the attention of the reader from the start, and that's what you did. And I also checked out some of your, I think it was your Facebook stuff, and I saw that you took photos and used those as references. Like there's maybe stuff where you took a photo doing this, or your friends
Oh,
are doing this, and then you actually drew those poses. So that's interesting, because usually what people do is maybe they go on Google to find those poses, but you took your own specific. So it seems like already you had an idea in your head of how the panels should be of the characters, and then you took photos of them and then drew. That sounds like it must have taken a long time to do.
and fun fact, for issue 1, we actually had reference work. Well, Lwanele, the actual Lwanele, was taking pictures in his own community,
Right.
and we used that. The whole scene, the whole
Right.
comic, we have like different places, but it's the same community, the same
Wow.
area.
Wow. Okay.
So I
Well, that's
was like
amazing.
thinking maybe people will notice. Yeah.
I know, I noticed, and I'm not from Pietermaritzburg, but I saw that. I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. But I wanted to ask you, man, where do you see this project going, like in the long run? Do you see it having like movies and like toys and video games, and or where do you see it going forward?
Yeah, that's where I want to take it, like
Mm,
animation, movies,
mm, mm,
even toys. I
yeah.
want that for Khanya. I want it for all my creations.
Mm.
So
Yeah, no,
hopefully,
I like the character designs,
because
man. Mm. Sorry, please continue.
oh, there's also that. Yeah, there's also that character. You did comment on that crossword.
Oh man, I
The
love it. I
one,
love it. I love it. That's a
yeah,
different comic. That's a
that's
different comic,
actually
no?
my first. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
my first superhero. That was my first superhero back in grade
Oh,
9.
oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, look, that character
that's
for me, Crossword, the main character from Crossword reminds me of Japanese manga style characters, from the 80s, from the 60s to the 80s. That's the style. When you look at some of the Shonen Jump covers back then, it looks exactly like that guy. And then for me, Khanya, and the art style reminds me of like Jack Kirby. Jack Kirby is the artist who was involved in Marvel properties like your Fantastic Four,
mm,
Silver
mm.
Surfer. So for me, your style sort of resembles that. But like I was saying, the character designs, I like the character designs because um, their armors are practical, the weapons make sense. And I mean, there's this cover that you did, man, that I really like. It shows two characters facing each other, and then they form an eagle, like, in the background. That was sick, man. That was pretty sick.
So what happened with that cover? It was for Echo. So Echo is just one issue. So I was
Mm.
supposed to have to do 4 issues. The story and the illustrations were already there,
Right.
but then I couldn't continue with it. So I had to start Khanya. And most of the things that I did before, I had to bring them over to begin the story of Khanya. So yeah.
Ish. So Camo Vision Comics, are you a one-man army, or do you have assistants? Do you have people that help you maybe with coming up with stories or writing, or are you doing everything yourself? And if you are doing everything yourself, what's your process like? Like, how do you start, and how
Yeah.
do you get?
I'm still in that box of doing everything by myself. And the process, yeah, is time consuming, but then since I'm enjoying it, it's fun. It's something that, yeah, I need to sacrifice time to do it. And every
Right.
project I usually take 2 months to finish.
Wow. Wow. And once you're done with it, I've noticed that you also upload it or rather publish it online webtoon. Have you gotten any good feedback from there?
Yeah. There was some, mostly, but it was in Facebook. The most feedback you'd get in Facebook, Instagram, where people are usually sliding or surfing. Yeah. But
Wow.
I don't think people, there was that thing that I was trying to fight against, that people in our communities, we don't like to read. It's either we don't like to read or we don't find time to read. So
Right.
when someone would release a book for free, it's because they want to see some change. Because now you introduce just one tiny variant to see if the outcome would be different.
Right.
So, which what I was doing at the time so I called it episode 1, Khanya. With episode 1, for me, it was supposed to be free, and all the other episodes. So I wanted it to be free.
Oh, okay. Okay. No, man, I just want to tell you that, man, I really, really, and I mean this, I really, really love Khanya. I love the potential that it has. Genuinely, I see it being animated. Even when I look at it and I read it, to me, it looks like it's animated already. You know, when it shows, when I saw scenes where the ship from that other alien was crashing, and you know, it was crashing to the other planet, and I was reading it, and people are like, yo, no, disengaging. I was like, yo, like this needs to be animated. This needs to be on Netflix or Disney Plus, you know. Um, I just really, really wish you all the best, man. And I hope that your projects really, really, really make it. I haven't seen anything other than the cover for Crossword, but I have a feeling that it's also as good as Khanya. But man, I really want to also get to know the other characters, because I know Kanya's not the only main character. I think you have like 3 other main characters in that specific story. Ne? There's a girl, and then there's another guy. And then there's also the mentor, the one who grants them their powers, right? He's the alien from another planet. And also the villains, you know. So those are the characters that I want to get to know better, you know. And I like also that you keep it grounded, you know, the environment, like you say, the community can tell that this is South African. The infrastructure, the houses, you can relate. You can see that, no, I've seen a house like this before. You know, it's not just like tall buildings or anything. It's like normal stuff, But yeah, man,
Don't get
I just yeah, I just hope that you continue.
even the one in the forest. Even the one in the forest.
Yes, yes. Because yeah, it's one of my favorite scenes, eh? The forest part is one of my favorite scenes, because that's where I guess that moment was a bit intimate, because he was speaking to that guy who was granting him powers, and I don't know, it felt open, you know. Because sometimes when you read some of these comics, they feel it's too busy, man, because it's the city. Like there's too many people walking around, cars, pollution, this and that. But at the forest, it's a bit more quiet. These conversations can be held without feeling like someone is hearing you. You know what I mean? So I like your approach to that nature thing. It's good. It's good.
Cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Okay, let me just say, because this year I promised some people that I would be working on episode 8 and episode 9,
Okay.
which the artworks had already been finished from last year,
Oh,
May. But then
okay.
yeah, so I had to like take a pause from that with
Okay.
the new job, and yeah, because it's demanding.
Yeah.
Jobs are always
Yeah.
demanding.
Yeah. Yeah.
You always be present. Mhm.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you don't usually get the time to finish your own project. But if you do, then you enjoy it.
So have
Yeah,
you finished those two issues already?
no, the pencils had already been finished.
Oh,
The
okay.
script also. Just now the digital work needs to be done.
Have you considered having someone who can assist you with that? If someone comes to you and says,
Yes.
if someone comes to you and says, "Hey, Kamohelo, I'm willing to help you color and digitalize this thing," would you be willing to work with them?
Yeah, I would be willing to work with them if I'm going to pay them. But I wouldn't want someone to work on something for me
Yeah,
for free.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
because even I wouldn't want to help someone for free.
Right,
So there has to be something in writing that, hey, it's a promise.
right,
So
right, right.
mm,
No, I agree with
even
you, my
though
brother.
you see, yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
So that's why we need to apply for these grant things, and yeah, to help our projects take off,
Mm.
and then we can be able to hire people.
Also, that's what you've been doing. You've been trying to get funding for your projects.
No, it's what I aim to do
Mm,
next time, because now
mm.
I see I'm falling behind,
Yeah,
and time
yeah.
is not stopping.
Our
Time
time
is
is
not
not, my
stopping
brother.
for
Trust
people
me,
like us.
I
Mm.
have stories that I've been working on since 2004. 2002. You see how long
Shit.
that is. And what I realized is I have to, like you were saying now, I realized that I need manpower. And for me to actually get these, because I have more than 30 something projects. So for me to actually get them off the ground, I need manpower. So I started looking for writers, I started looking for other artists, I started looking for people, and I'm paying them from my own pocket, because what I don't want is getting investors and people telling me how they want to run the company. So what I'm doing
Mm.
now is I'm just doing it myself. I'm just running the whole thing myself. And part and parcel of this as well is also to show that, it's not just me that's going through this. It's a lot of people, and we have passion for storytelling and for creating, but we just don't have financial aid. But I just, my purpose is just so that we can encourage each other and make sure that we get our stuff out there. And I commend you for that, because the stuff that you've released so far, man, by yourself, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot of drawings. It's a lot of work that's been done there. And I hope that people will read it. I'll leave a link in the description below of your stuff so that they can check it out. And I hope, yeah, they'll really check it out.
They have to.
Yeah. No, they have to. They
They
have
have to
to.
check it out. It's free.
Yeah.
It's free, man.
Yeah.
Come on, you're not paying anything.
Yeah. My brother, unfortunately, we're out of time. This is why I don't really like this particular platform, because it's very short. But I guess hopefully we can have another discussion in the future. I mean, we talk on WhatsApp almost all the time, but for others out there, we can so that they get to know you better. I'm sure we'll do another session in the future. But thank you for your time, my brother. And like I said, I wish you all the best with Khanya, with Cross Swords, and any other ideas that you come up with in the future. Guys,
Well,
read his stuff. Read his stuff. It's really good. I'm not just saying that. I've read it more than once. That's why I can tell you that there's a car accident, there's like ships, there's people being granted powers, there's people from other planets and all of that. It's really, really good. It really reminds me of Jack Kirby's work, and that says a lot. So yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. And yeah, this is Mr. Extrodin. And don't forget this name, Kamohelo Molefe. Check out his stuff, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Thank you, my brother. I truly appreciate it. Nah?
Thank you, man.
Sure.